You guys remember these old switches? At least in Southern California, these switches were used in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and they're good old switches. They're spring-loaded inside, but they were noisy. You know, if someone came in the house, it'd be like, oh, so-and-so's home. Or someone got up and went to the bathroom, and they're going to the bathroom again. So these switches here are part of this little story I have. I was working as a property manager, and I got a call to a house because the front part of the house was out. The whole circuit was out. And so I came in the front door and I got chewed out. The tenant was just chewing me out, you know, up one end and down the other, because, you know, the electrical was no good in this house. And while I was standing there at the front door getting chewed out, I happened to look around, and the front door switch was just like this one right here. And I just happened to notice while he was going on and on that there was a paper clip right in the switch like that. See, there's a paper clip right here. That's it. And so I waited my turn, you know, I didn't want to say anything. You don't want to upset tenants and so forth. I waited my turn, and I said, how long has that switch had a paper clip in it? And all of a sudden the guy that was, you know, talking a mile a minute just didn't say anything for a while. So I got a nice pair of needle nose. These are 1,000 volt insulated, and I grabbed the paper clip, pulled it out, and then I went and turned the circuit breaker back on, and voila, everything worked. So let me tell you why it didn't work. Okay, so this old switch, this portion here is called a yoke, and it's metal. It doesn't look like metal because of that paint on it. You hear that? That's metal. This is metal, and this was connected to a metal box. See, back in the 50s houses, a lot of the exterior boxes were metal. So this was the front light switch. So it was metal. So then the screw goes through here and into the metal box. And in the back of the metal box was the old style wiring that hooked to the back of the metal box, and that went to your main panel, and that served as a ground back in the 50s. This house I was going to was a 50s house. And so there was a ground in here. Now, you see, on this old switch, this is where one of the hot wires went, and this is another switched hot wire. Okay, so you got a hot wire that's hot all the time coming in, and then when this switch is on, this wire coming out, see, these are cut off right now. This wire coming out was hot too, and that would light up your lights, and that would turn off your lights. So when the paper clip was in the switch, okay, it connected to the ground, which was your yoke. This was connected to those old ground wires, okay, and this hit one of the hot terminals inside. So that was a short. When a hot is connected to a ground, that's called a short. The last story I had, it was about a hot connecting to a neutral and causing a short. But this is still a short when you got a hot connecting to a ground. So when I pulled the paper clip out, there was no more short. At that point, I just had to go turn the circuit breaker on, and everything was fine. So that's my story about the old spring switch. Thanks, take care.